Hello, Arx. I am XingKazma, and this is Anamana, and this is your latest episode of Oracle Fleet Podcast number 18, your weekly podcast for PSO2 news and information, especially for the other global servers. Today, we are joined today by Ed and Kyrem from Ship One Alliance Tier 1, actually. And you're one of, you guys are from Cammy's Alliance, right?
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah.
Yes, it is an alliance led by Cammy.
Yeah, so it's Cammy Case Alliance down on Ship One. These guys are great officers of that alliance, and they're also joined by Anamana himself and Elite 4K and a few others in PSO2 community. But how are you guys doing today? And thank you for joining us.
I'm doing quite well. I'm doing very well. Yourself?
I'm feeling great. Pikachu hat gives me a lot of confidence.
I love the hat, man. I love it.
Wear it with pride, right?
It's the Photon Smasher hat.
It's a nice hat, and I'm not doing too bad either.
That's awesome. I'm still waiting for the day that we finally get like a Pokemon crossover for summoners, so we can have like Digimon and Pokemon beside us.
Imagine
Always been on my mind.
going around with like a Pokeball mag. Could you imagine?
Yep, that could work.
Can you imagine like the harmonizer being a Pokeball and you're just waving a Pokeball
A
around?
Yu-Gi-Oh like deck.
Oh
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, collaborations
please.
running themselves.
I remember actually my first time playing Tallies on PSO2 like way back when it was still episode 3, and I saw this one skin that kind of looked like a dual disc. It would go on your arm like that, and you would actually pull the cards out and throw them. And I just imagined that I put myself in a long white trench coat. I call myself Seto, and I'm just like launching cards at people for the heck of it. But yeah, you're gonna eat this, dude. Like this is me being Seto right now. I'm the greatest dueler of all time.
All you need is a motorcycle.
Oh
Dude,
no.
I wish. I didn't know we can actually do that until later on when people got the parts and now they're like rolling around on a motorcycle, and I'm now kind of figuring that out.
Mm-hmm.
Missed opportunity.
Just wait till people start doing that in NGS with the running sprite as well.
Yeah.
Just zooming across the fields.
Well, we're getting like motions now as well, like MTN items, which we know that we're getting the crawl. So, not out of the question.
Like a Sonic run would be great, you know? A Sonic run,
Naruto run.
yeah.
Ooh, that could be
Technically,
fun.
that's the same.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. It's just that one's a human, one's a hedgehog.
I mean, you can give me two. I'm not complaining here. I would like to. But yeah, so we do have a couple questions for you guys. And these are basically just going to talk about your experiences with PSO2. I know you guys have been playing for a minute. And I do want to ask, Kieran, we'll start with you. When did you start playing the Phantasy Star series?
It was actually global release, man. Like, I had no clue what Phantasy Star was up until global release. I've only just recently started playing some of the older games with Anamana and other people within the Alliance. Yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure. And especially with the event that we had going on as well, just logging in for the first time, hearing the bells and the theme that was going on and seeing everybody at a low level, it was amazing. It was an experience, and I'm glad that I experienced that.
It's going to be good with PS2 and GS lobbies, hey?
Oh my gosh. It's the beta, man. I can't wait.
It's kind of like when you go to school for the first time, and then like now you're a second year, and then we're about to see all these new first years come through PSO2, and it's just gonna overload because of the amount of people who didn't play PSO2 like when it came out in global. Oh, it's
gonna be good.
Yeah, the global release is going to have some issues, just with everybody wanting to jump into the servers at the same time. So that should be fun to try and go through.
Yeah, we'll just get Ed to let one person through.
Yeah.
Wow.
prize in Microsoft Store. So Ed, what about you? When did you first start with the Phantasy Star series?
Okay, so when I was a kid, I experienced PSO1. I don't think I really played it, but I definitely sat down and watched a friend play it a lot, and my brother's friends play it a lot. But I first really started playing with Phantasy Star Portable 1 and 2. That was my first really Phantasy Star experience, and then last year, about the same time that Anamana started playing PSO2 again, I also hopped on to the JP server, and I was playing with him for a bit. and with Uber back then. And so it was what, like start of last year? I think February-ish. I think.
I think about then. Yeah, that was when the closed beta was, and then it didn't come out until March.
Yeah, for the PC, yeah, it was about March.
No, I think PC was May or June or something.
Yeah, PC was much later on.
Yeah. So open beta.
I played JP for the first like 4 months of the year last year.
Yeah, I think it started off with it being out on Xbox, and then it released to PC.
And then Steam was like a little bit later than that.
Yeah. Man, the
like 3
Microsoft.
releases in 6 months. It was...
Yeah.
Man, the Microsoft Store was a chaotic release.
It was.
Ooh.
You know what's funny is I actually just found out, this is something else about Microsoft Store, just a little side piece here. When you log in for the closed beta for New Genesis, it actually does a hardware check. I did not know this. So when I came home and I did my little video and I mentioned the whole sign into New Genesis and join, I didn't join. And I'm like, wait, what? But I joined at my friend's house on his PC. So it still says that I'm joined there, but I had to come home and join again.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains why I had to sign up on my regular desktop, because I had both my desktop and my laptop going at the same time, trying to log in just to make sure. So as soon as I got onto my laptop, I went to sleep, checked it on my desktop, and I was like, hang on a minute, I'm pretty sure I applied. So I had to reapply.
Yeah, I think they do that hardware check. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. If you did it on a friend's computer, make sure you at least go back and check it on your personal computer, because you don't want to be left out of that.
Yeah.
But with that, we know we got a bunch of classes coming to New Genesis. But what classes did you guys play starting off with PSO2? Ed, we'll go with you this time.
So when I first started, I wanted to be like a bouncer, and then I wanted to be a braver. And then I started leveling Phantom as a subclass, and it kind of stuck. So for a long time, I've been a Phantom player. And then as soon as it came out on EN, I swapped to Phantom. But now I'm looking more towards learning how to play Hunter, and potentially thinking about learning how to pick up Wander 12. But yeah, those are the classes I've been looking at mostly.
Yeah. Hunter's a tough one.
Yeah.
Hunter's fun. Hunter's a lot of fun.
Would you call it a Fanta?
Oh. If I knew I signed up for puns, oh god.
You do anything with Anamana, you automatically sign up with puns. It is a likeness agreement by voice, and I think we've all signed up for that. But it's good. It's always good. So what about you, Kyrem? What classes did you try in PSO2 first?
Alrighty. At the very beginning, I played Force because I absolutely love the idea of being a mage in any sort of game that I play. And then I slowly went towards Hero when that released, because I wanted, to play something different. And then as soon as Phantom released, I was told that it was just a faster, better Force. And then I played Phantom until Luster released. And then now I'm a Luster main.
Man of culture. I love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Anamana, do you have any classes that you're playing right now that are different?
Still Force Phantom, but playing Challenge Quest 3, a lot of Hunter and a tiny bit of Etwall.
Nice. And that's the thing about the Challenge Quest 3. I think that's a really good way to learn some of like the real key components of certain classes. Like with Hunter, when we played the day of, we had one guy who was playing Hunter for the first time, and he didn't know that Warcry worked the way it worked. Just something very different for him. But getting used to it, this person came out and was like, yeah, I want to play Hunter now. It's like, oh, well,
oh yeah,
here you go. Here's all the things you need to know about Hunter.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good way to learn certain fundamentals that need to be instilled in certain, play styles before you start learning other classes. And I also think it's a good way to keep people from, just kind of going out and just mashing about and then not being able to truly learn their class, in certain areas. But definitely that's a good way. Yeah. How do you like Hunter so far, if you don't mind me asking?
Me? I played it before, but there's certain things that because I haven't played Hunter properly since, I guess, around the time the game launched. I didn't realize that Sacred Skewer had the whole mechanic of like just restoring the PP and the gear as well, so you can just keep using it over and over. And then timings of heal guards as well was a huge thing I learned.
Wait, so when you play Hunter, you get to use Sacred Screw as Partisan, right?
Yeah, it is. So like you throw it up, there's a bubble that you could throw it again, but if you wait for a second, like when you catch it and do the little spin, if you do it again, it'll have the topped up PP and also the gear back. So you can just repeat over and over without like any loss. So for like Ragni in that one, very good. Like Ed was teaching me that was a very good option, especially if you're low on hit points, right?
It's like it's not an ideal option, but it's just like it's safe if someone's not very confident on Hunter. You can just shove them there and go, hey, just Sacred Skewer, Ragni, Sweet Point, you'll be safe.
Yep, just
There's a
avoid
few
lightning.
better ways of doing it that I talked to you about and got told about today, which we can talk about when we get up to that section.
Yeah, we definitely got to run some of these because I don't know Ranger very much, so that's going to be a good thing to kind of learn. I tried to do Ranger the other day when I was leveling up my classes, and it's very slow for me.
I don't want to tell you the bad news then, because I think I'm gonna stop running with Rangers in my group for now. I think I'm just gonna do 1 bouncer, 7 hunters.
Hello? Should I be worried?
I think from discussions, the quote-unquote ideal group would be 1 bouncer, 2 rangers, 5 hunters. I'm not entirely sure about this, and would need to like test it and talk to some of the JP teams that have been testing it. But it's much easier to shove 7 people on Hunter because it's really easy to generate stocks for your build-up photon arts on Hunter.
And what's different between Hunter's stocks versus other classes?
Ranger is very hard to build stocks on if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You'll go into you could be a very good Ranger player outside of CM3, and you could go into the last boss with 2 stocks, having built only 2 stocks throughout the entire thing. If you're decent at Ranger, you can build quite a few stocks, but you have to have like that understanding of how to go about building stocks on Ranger.
Right.
Whereas Hunter is much easier.
I normally play Tekker, excuse me. I didn't really play much else so far, so I didn't really know it was that deep on trying to build up, your photon blast. Because I mean, in regular world, it's pretty simple. You just beat a couple people, you get it like that. I didn't think it was that serious. Huh.
So build up photon arts, or as we tend to call them, CPAs, based on the JP name. They're basically the bread and butter of what allows you to go fast in CM3 because it's massive amounts of damage that you don't have access to anywhere else.
Right.
No other class other than rush classes have access to complex photon arts, and they do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Like we're talking moving into boss rooms, and then 2 people do a CPA, and then suddenly the boss is dead, like Fodorus or something.
They do like I think it's about like 200k damage for some of them, whereas your normal photon arts do like 5k.
Yeah.
All right. Well, learning something new. I'm gonna have to go run some games with y'all too. Yeah, because I think it doesn't even matter too.
I've been playing a lot of CM3.
Yeah.
I can see.
I have like 30 hours on CM3 over the last 3 days.
Oh my god. I mean, I guess it's cool. Like, you guys have been taking notes and everything on the different things you've been finding and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a strategy from a JP team. I think they're now known as Phantasy Star. And we made it a lot easier for newer players to pick up, but it's basically just the strat they run.
Yep.
And they've done a speedrun with that same strategy and been able to get to the second interval in under 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, at 10 minutes, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very good strategy.
Ed's working on bringing the Sherpa meta from Destiny across to PSO2.
I want everyone to experience the joy of CM3.
It's basically PSO2 raids, right?
Give or take, yeah.
Kinda.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say that.
I kind of wish they do more, to be honest with you, because it really does help you. It makes PSO2 a little bit heavier when it comes to gameplay. So you don't just go in and I think the skill cap. That's what I mean to say. The skill cap is definitely raised when stepping into CM3 and seeing the difference between a casual team completing it versus a hardcore team completing it. And that's something that's like Destiny has that too, whereas though you would have people basically the hardcore is racing to beat that first raid, you know, and going through all the different strategies, all the different, you know, routes you can take. And then you have the casuals that's just like, we might be the 500 team, but we're either going to get it before the update comes and we get stronger weapons, or we're going to get it after the update comes and we get stronger weapons. I don't really care. But it's still really fun to see like people jumping into CM3 and being this crazy about making sure they get the right strats and the right weapons and the right teams. And it really brings back the severity. I think we talked about this before, Anamana, where it's like you want support classes to really be support classes, you know, range classes to really be, you know, cover your back and whatnot. It definitely fits. But I mean, aside from with CM3 actually, what do you guys find yourselves enjoying the most in PSO2 now? Like even with everything being out now.
Challenging content. Like I know with HTPD coming up, and that's going to be something that I really want to try on NA with my gear there. But trying to push the limits of my knowledge of classes to put them into scenarios that shouldn't normally be possible, right? I'm experimenting and trying to push for a solo 12-man Sodom clear with the triggers available now, and trying to learn all the different, you know, intricacies with the Luster class. You know, what's the most efficient DPS cycle? What's, you know, the fastest possible movements abilities that I have with Luster to try and push, you know, a couple of seconds. While it may seem small at the start, at the very end, everything slowly stacks up. So being able to cut as much time as possible is very, very important. So yeah, just anything that, you know, difficult. Another example, mop up. The mop up trigger is something that I've really been enjoying as well, and running that with groups of people.
Okay.
Have people been beating that? Because wasn't it really hard?
It was hard when we weren't geared and our understanding wasn't exactly on point. But now that we've got a flow, we've been able to get clears done with like 2-3 minutes remaining. There's definitely room for improvement, but we are able to comfortably clear it now.
Cool.
So not bad. That's the you're talking the 4-man, right?
Yeah, the 4-man mop up triggers.
That one's tough. I tried to solo that one.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want the hard facts there?
What's that?
I'm pretty sure you can't solo that trigger.
Probably, but I'm hard-headed and I'm bloody
as in,
masochist.
I think it's not possible to solo.
Give it 6 months and someone will prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone soloed that ever.
Not that we know of,
including
at
JP players.
I'd imagine like W Glenn tried to solo it at some point.
Probably.
Yeah,
He's
I
good
don't
enough.
think I don't think it's soloable, to be honest.
We shall
Even
see.
duos have a tight time doing it.
I like challenges. We'll see. That's the best part about this game. You tell me, oh, it can't be done. I'm just gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna explore every single avenue.
Exactly.
You especially can't do it until you get your god units.
Okay, listen here, buddy. Like this.
I actually completed mine now. I got the extra capsule. I
Oh,
just
really?
need to transfer like another claws unit across once I get it to drop the arms, or I make it.
Oh man, what's your stats looking like now with your full set of god units?
Enough. I don't know off the top of my
Enough?
head. I want to say
I
like
wanna say
6k is probably like the ballpark for tech damage.
Yeah,
Really?
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, Force gets an extra a lot of T attack for free.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of weird because even using Phantom now, my melee power is only about 5k, which I found kind of weird. But then if I go to Luster, it's like well over 7k.
Yeah, I think that's down to initial class stats as well that cause that difference.
And there'll be different calculations as well for them.
Yeah, it's definitely heavy because it makes me really lose faith in Katana sometimes. I'm just sitting here like, yeah, this is like 4k. No way am I going to do enough damage for this. Nah. Ever.
There's the challenge for you, mate. Too easy. Go for it.
Want to give it a try. I actually just made a Phantom the other day, so
Hey, there we
I'm
go.
gonna give it a try. I'm gonna have Ed coach me. But Ed, what about you, man? What have you been finding the most enjoyable content in PSO2?
Didn't we just have like a 5-minute conversation about it?
Challenge quest.
Like, we just talked about challenge mode 3. Fun. Yeah, it's probably challenge mode right now. I just like the fact that you start on even footing with everyone. Gear isn't. It's not about gear. It's about skill and strategy. I get to tell people what to do. I always love getting to tell people what to do. So, I don't know. I just enjoy CM. It's really fun. And just gonna put this out there. If you want to learn how to do CM3, we're happy to coach people through CM3. We're happy to do CM3 runs and help people get through it and get their star gems.
Yeah.
Especially with the
we'll
ability
probably
of global ship as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, with universal ship.
Yeah.
Tier 1's a public Discord.
Yeah, Tier 1 is a public Discord. And yeah, we're happy to help. If you want to get your SG, just let me know somehow. And we'll try and help. There's a lot of people interested so far though, and well, we need fills all the time, so if you feel confident filling, there's that as well.
Should I post on my community tab on YouTube the link to the Discord? Or do you think that's
if
maybe
you want.
too
I
many
do not
people
mind.
too many people rushing and wanting to do CM3 at once?
I genuinely do not mind. I think there's also a public CM Discord,
Is
but
there?
I don't know the link to that. So.
Okay. Cool.
But we're like more casual runs. We're not going to be doing speed runs exactly, but we're happy to get everyone their 7.368s, which is the max score.
Sure. That'll actually be cool. Sorry, you go.
So no, go ahead. I was just gonna say I could see the service just being overwhelmed with players.
It'd actually be really cool to have like a community day where we just rush people through the Atwell build, so that way they get their 2 Fluxios, and they get their initial run of it.
Yeah, I mean that would be fair. I'll be honest. Yeah.
I feel like you could churn through a lot of people that way.
I definitely prefer teaching people rush strat, but like we can definitely run some people through like well the thing is you don't need to, it can still be rush strat, we can just take attacker. In fact that would probably be even better, is just running attacker there.
Yep.
Because the attacker will then force the Hyuno boss, which gives the title.
Okay. Yep. Either way, that way, like if you do like an easier run, then you can filter out all the people that just want to get the experience, and anyone that does want to go a little bit more hardcore, then you've got a list of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We need to take notes. I'm gonna need a big old book. Just write everything y'all know down. Just cram it into a book, because
I'm pretty sure we have like a page in the Discord.
By the way, I've already done that.
You've updated it?
I've updated it a bit. It's going to change a bit over the next few days, but and we'll eventually add a bouncer and ranger section as well.
Yeah.
But there is a channel on the Tier 1 Discord that is public.
CM1 info, CM3
It
info?
just has like a basic outline of CM3 strategies,
Yeah.
specifically rush strat, but I can go into more depth if needed. And there's a few people I've been discussing it with, and we've been talking to people from other alliances, and hopefully we can get a nice summary together. But yeah, it's there.
Oh, there you go. Say less. I guess I know where to go. Yeah, because it's way more than I thought it was. You know, like even going in day one, I was just like, oh man, I'm just gonna run this and then just come up with these basic plans. And then you guys are like, well, there's actually about 24 different avenues to your one basic plan, Kaj. Sit down, we got this. All right. But I love it though, because it definitely makes PSO2 a lot more fun. Just exploring the different things that CM3 has to offer, and I hope they do more. Really, even before new or even after New Genesis, I hope that they do more. Hell, even in New Genesis, I hope they do more. But yeah. As we come up on New Genesis, I know it's been like a year of PSO2. And I know you guys have had a bunch of crazy moments. I've been seeing the tweets and everything. But yo, Ed, we'll start with you. What is your favorite moment in Phantasy Star Online 2?
You're really making me talk about one topic today, aren't you? So far, Like, there's been a few, but it kind of has to be from like 2 or 3 days ago when we were 7 people learning CM3 for the first time and finally getting that clear. That felt really, 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 really good. Because honestly, there's just so much to learn in Mission 1 and Mission 2, which we'll probably talk about later. But I just loved that clear. That clear felt so good. It was probably my favorite moment so far, and just like, it felt like going 12 hours of doing the same thing, and then finally it just all falls together and you get it.
Yep.
And just everyone just gigantic grins on their face. It felt so good.
Just that combined sigh of relief after getting it done.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even a sigh of relief. It was just everyone just going like, wow. Wow, we actually did it. God damn. That was awesome.
I heard it was pretty
Well,
like it was pretty scuffed as well, but you managed to
Oh,
pull through.
scuffed as hell. We hadn't talked to people at that stage, and we didn't know that Knuckles CPA worked for El Scooter. So that resulted in I recorded a clip there of just like me jumping in and just being like, wow, Knuckles CPA does damage. Because Scooter just died, and El Scooter is the debanned Lumamech. Really annoying enemy.
Hmm.
Really, really annoying enemy.
Ebon Lumamech.
The stingray with the
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, open. Yeah, hate that guy. Especially
Such a
when it
pain.
closes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Delete him, Sega, please. Help us. What about you, Kyrem? What was one of your favorite moments in PSO2?
Jeez. I honestly think still it is the initial log on for the first time on NA release. I don't think any moment's probably going to be able to beat that. Just running around, seeing, you know, everybody on the same playing field. I'm probably going to be able to experience that with New Genesis, but
Yep.
yeah, just seeing something that I haven't explored before, and that sense of wonder, the sense of shock and awe of like, wow, this is actually amazing, is something that I will definitely cherish as we continue on in this saga of Phantasy Star Online.
Sure. It's gonna be exciting. Seeing
What's
everyone
up, Brett?
in that first area in just with the closed beta as well is gonna be really cool.
Oh my gosh, like oh, after the beta, when we got to have our hands on with the second closed beta test, the withdrawals from playing the closed beta were real.
Yep.
And just seeing the mass improvements from closed beta 1 to beta 2, and then reading the improvements from beta 2 to beta 3 is just amazing, just to see how much the development team have gone into for this game and trying to make it the best experience possible from as little as we've seen. And to think we've still got a massive, like, you know, from what we've seen within the area that we've had access to in the beta, like there's still mountains, you know, snowy areas, the dooming looking mountain.
Yes.
Oh, I just can't wait, man. I'm so excited.
And I think we even saw Fred posted something on Twitter the other day where he said the game isn't even where it's going to end. There's a line of like merchandise, anime, manga, all this stuff coming for New Genesis. And I was just like, dude, calm down, Sega. Like, you have my money in the game. That's enough. I don't need you taking my retirement too.
Sign me up for a deck of those Niao playing cards, man.
Oh,
right
please.
now.
Oh yeah, playing Black Knack with the boys. Imagine.
Don't to cheese everyone out of their money, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So, you guys are officers in Tier 1, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
So, actually, there's been a lot of questions coming up, and I know Anamana, you yourself had even made a discussion topic on your YouTube talking about alliances and how to get into them, how do you pick and choose, right?
Yep.
So now everyone gets to hear from 2 officers of one of the best alliances PSO2, right?
Calm down, buddy.
No, that's not true. We'll explain why in a little bit. But
I said one up. You guys definitely fall. Listen,
our goal is not to be the best.
right.
Yeah.
It's not Pokemon,
Not our
man.
goal.
I want to
That's
be
not
the
right.
very best.
That's not the
As-
intention of Tier 1 as a whole.
it's never the intention, but what I mean
Also,
is as
we
far
have a
as
good
the
player, but that's about it.
huh.
We have one really, 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 really good player, and the rest of us are like decent at the game. But we only really have that one amazing player.
Thanks.
Well, let me read it.
I wasn't talking about you.
One of the
Sorry.
most humble alliances in PSO2.
Don't talk us up.
The name is misleading. We are not exactly tier 1. We can guarantee that.
Tier 1 is the first tier of the mission pass, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
0.9.
We're the entry level alliance. Oh no, like
So hang on.
so hang on. I gotta be clear here.
What's
We're
up?
a casual alliance. We're not a hardcore alliance. These are terms we've moved away from over time.
Hmm.
We're mostly an alliance intend on helping people. Like our intent is to help people learn.
Yeah.
That's our goal. We're not really at this stage, like at least among the officers, none of us are really intent on making this alliance like the best or the most hardcore, but we want people who want to learn. That's what we really want. That's
Yeah.
our goal.
To evolve upon the idea of pushing to make an alliance hardcore, you're excluding yourself from such a large majority of the community. And, you know, with that simple label of, you know, you must be hardcore, you're potentially locking yourself off of meeting an amazing player that's still learning the game, and their potential is probably, you know, something you may not ever see because they've been shut off from this idea of, you know, not being hardcore as, you know, the label may suggest.
And no one,
Also, like we're
no
a
one
hardcore
starts
alliance.
off hardcore, right?
Oh, damn. If we're a hardcore alliance, we wouldn't be able to recruit Anamana, right? Like,
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm like, I am as casual as it comes. Like, you can probably tell just playing with me is that I'll pick and choose like the stuff that I'm interested in.
Oh yeah, but look, it pays its dividends in the banter that we get, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the Vegemite story.
oh yeah.
I think a big thing to touch on here is like, and Cammy's talked about this a lot. He cares more, and a few of us care more about taking, if we have newer players, helping newer players do harder content, like helping them learn how to do harder content, not just recruiting only people who already know how to do that content, right? Like, also I shouldn't say the word recruit because currently recruitment is closed for tier 1, but
1.1 still recruiting.
1.1 is still recruiting, yes. But yeah, we're here. We want to help new players get good, and we want to help all the players we can grow, and we want to help Uber get his S6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me reiterate that because I do apologize. Did not mean to put you guys on this crazy high pedestal saying you're like the best in the world and you know tier 1's number 1. You know, best is very subjective, and the term I used for that was because you guys are one of the alliances that I really see pushing exactly what you're preaching. You know, you're saying you want new players, you want to be able to help the community do better, get better, be better, and you do it in such a nice fashion where as though you're not really pushing for people to do hardcore stuff, but if they want to learn, they have somewhere to be, they have somewhere where they can feel welcome, and getting that information without feeling like they need to be, you know, hardcore from the jump or getting excluded because they're not making it. You know, they always have the ability to learn and they have the time to get to where they need to be. So in my eyes, you guys are one of the best alliances, okay? But that's also because I've seen what you guys do. And I've seen the results of that from you guys even jumping into PSO2 and then learning what you could from the community before you and becoming as good as you've gotten. So that's always something I respect greatly beyond the community. And I'm pretty sure the community that you know, developed over the year has come to appreciate you guys as well for the hard work you've done. So I do apologize for that. But you guys are great regardless, and I'm never going to apologize for that.
That's fine.
Put us on a pedestal. We're not deserving of a pedestal.
Oh.
No, by far.
But because you guys are
on a journey to get there.
Absolutely, and look, it's only going to continue with New Genesis, right?
Exactly.
So we're all starting on square one, ready to get started with a new game, new mechanics, new features, new everything. So with that, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be trying to carry these alliances over to New Genesis. So we have you guys here today because who to give alliance information than to alliance officers, right? So I want to ask you guys today, what do you all think make a good alliance?
All right. All right. Friendly environment is definitely one that I will want to elaborate on. Surrounding yourself with people like a friend group, right? You're all in here together to have fun, enjoy yourselves. So surrounding yourself with people that, have similar ideas of the game, wanting to improve, wanting to help others is also another good example. And wanting to build each other up. A lot of the people within our alliances during the boost week, here's a perfect example actually. A lot of people were pushing to help each other build their god units. And so that way, those who did have their god units are then able to push out and help when the next boost week comes along, to make that grind significantly easier, because we know the efficient route to getting those set items, and plus being able to blitz through the content a little easier with the units than the weapons that we have now. Just being able to help others get those items to also bring them up to end game and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
There you go. Ed, what about you? You have any input on that?
What makes an alliance good? People. Like that's all I've got to say for that. Like the people you enjoy hanging out with, people you enjoy chatting with, people you feel comfortable playing the game around. People you can banter with. In my case, people I can call nerds.
Wait, so it's not just about having a full tree?
Okay, so part of it is obviously having access to that maxed out team tree, and the very, very important Burning Rangers alliance music.
Yeah,
that's crucial. But
I'm pretty sure for like a long time we were deliberately refusing to level up the defense part of the tree, weren't we?
yeah, so that Cammy could record videos about his so he couldn't just be like, oh, but you just have defense level 8. He would just like not level the defense aspect of the tree.
Yeah.
So that people couldn't throw that at him for his backup.
Yeah.
It was the minorest of things, I'll be honest. We just eventually leveled it in the end.
The best thing is memeing on your alliance.
Yes.
When there's a primordial darkness or a really people want to do this urgent quest, you quickly change to a moon base so that when everyone's running to get their tree boost, they just jump over the tree.
I would do that, but there are a few alliance members that keep threatening to leave if I do that. So I decided not to. I really wanted to.
Dear.
So, I mean, you guys have how many people is exactly like between tier 1 and tier 1 2? Do you guys know like the number offhand of how many people you have altogether?
There's 86 in tier 1. Give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you how many are in tier 1.1.
And like a lot of the overflow, because tier 1's initially, I don't know what game they started with, but they're a big Destiny clan as well.
Yeah.
So while we're at 86, the buffer amount is for people coming with New Genesis from Destiny too. Like some of the people.
There are 97 currently in tier 1.1, which means probably going to have to talk about
Tier 1.2.
Getting rid of
1.2.
that, or making tier 1.2, which was an intention of ours. Just to have a place for people to chat and hang out, and another alliance in the...
Gosh, the amount of group chats we're going to need to create just to communicate across all of the alliances.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, I got that handled.
At some point, just imagine if they just let you have your alliance and anyone can join, but basically you can just manage it all through Discord without all the extra stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Everything will load off, right?
That integration would be great.
We started moving towards making in-game group chats because it allows people to be more active while they're playing the game. Because not everyone wants to alt-tab to Discord every like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. That can get annoying.
Yeah. So we made a group chat. Maybe we'll make more in the future.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Mhm.
Well, with that being said, I mean, altogether, you guys have pretty well established community in tier 1.1, and in the future 1.2. Yeah. So, what do you guys think is the thing that motivates people to participate in alliances? Like, what is the big motivation piece for that?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Fuck knows. To be honest, like it's hard because like people want to play the game at their own pace, and I don't want to force anyone to participate in anything. And talking to the other officers, I don't think any of them want to either.
No.
Like at the end of the day, like you can't force activity. If people will play the game if they want to play the game, right? Like, so participation can be hard. We've tried spreadsheets, all of that in the past, and for us, it just didn't really work. So we kind of moved towards a more like laissez-faire kind of system where like if you want to organize something, you've got to be the one to organize it. Like people will be happy to ping people for you, but you've got to have like the organization behind it, right? It's not anyone but yourself if you want to get an activity done.
Yep.
And it just comes down to the first thing of like, just ask, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty sure there are going to be in the community, there are going to be people who have the same intention as you. Like, if you want to teach people how to play a certain class, be like, I'm holding a teaching session, like teaching you the basics of class in this time period. Come along if you want. Or just giving people the option more than being like, no, you need to come. It's like, we're open with these experiences. If you want to join, tag along type thing. As Ed said, forcing people to do things isn't exactly a great environment, and that can lead to issues amongst itself.
So stepping in there and touching on that, in the end, we actually decided again. Like we were originally going to like organize workshops and all of that stuff, but in the end, we eventually decided against it because it's really easy. It's really, really, really easy to give someone the wrong information about a class.
Yeah.
And it can lead to really good bad habits that are hard to break. And so we decided to like lean away from the idea of workshops, but we're happy to help people with classes and stuff like that. And like the guides for this game are pretty solid. Like sometimes there's a few things that not everyone really knows about. Like my fun fact is Gigarant's counters aren't actually just attacked on Phantom. So if your Gigarant's countering on Phantom, you're losing, I think it's like 29% damage or 27% damage or something like that,
bad?
on the counter. So you don't want to like, you don't always want to use that, for instance. But that's something we found out because of one of the Endless players, who's known to most of the global players as Boom Crack 8 Slot. But yeah, that's how we found out about that. One of our friends asked, and we found out, hey, if you Gigarant's counter as a Phantom, you don't just attack, that kind of stuff. And we felt that like it's really hard to teach someone how to play a class. A lot of it is kind of just comes down to practice, playing the game, and just keep going at it until you're like comfortable on the class. Because like there's so many nuances that like we don't really do that kind of teaching anymore, but we're happy to give someone a solid group to learn how to do a UQ or something like that, so that they have the environment where they can safely learn. That kind of stuff we're totally down for, though.
See, it's kind of funny because recently I was playing with my Phantom and someone was trying to tell me about the Gigant's counter, and I couldn't get it off. But in my head, I figured, is it really worth it? Like, would it be better just to step counter? Because I have a certain rhythm that I play with. So when it comes to certain enemies, that rhythm is everything, you know. And if I throw off that rhythm with a Gigrant, I'm just gonna die. So I figured it'd just be better for me to do that. But I didn't. I never knew it was actually worth to do the Gigrant's counter.
By the way, it is actually better to not do the Gigrant's
counter. It's better. Yeah.
Don't only do the Gigrant's counter if you're in a situation like say Divide, like Shiva Laser or Mitra Laser or something like that, where like there's the constant ticking damage. In that situation, you like pop a Resta and you dodge back and forth and spam Gigrants while you're on the Resta field. yeah, that's fine, because you'll get so many counters off that it's just not reasonable for you to like step attack the counters, right? But if you have the time, you're always better off like step attack countering and that kind of stuff for Phantom. Just a cute tidbit.
It's actually a really good tip. Going to say no to G grants counter, or is it G grants or G grants? I'm terrible at these.
I think it's G grants because it's grants and then just G at the start.
Fair enough. I might have to touch base with you on some Phantom tips. Think about it. So it's on the brain now.
I've helped a lot of people with Phantom. I like Phantom. I hate Phantom, but I like Phantom.
I like it, but I hate it. I just can't seem to bring myself to play Rod. I don't know. I just can't. My brain sees Rod, and I immediately opt out.
I think the most important thing for anyone playing Phantom is Lone Rifle. It's your most important weapon.
Yeah.
It's not the best at single target, but it's the best at mobbing.
That's the favorite. Is actually because like same with Kyrem. I love the idea of using magic and whatnot, but when it comes down to the spells, I don't know. Using magic in PSO2 has always been weird to me. Mainly because I like to do hand magic, so I'd rather my character shoot bolts instead of kind of like have this imaginary staff in his hand and just pull back on nothing. I'm just like, what you doing, buddy? It's always kind of weird. I know, Anamana, you do say you play a lot of Force, right?
That's all I play at the moment.
Does it ever feel weird having weapon stealthing on, or do you just not use it?
I don't. No, I don't use weapon stealthing. The only character I've had weapon stealthing on was I made a hero that uses TMG that was dressed like Jubilee, so it looked like she was shooting from her fingers.
Oh man, that's actually awesome.
Mm.
So this question also goes with you, Anamana, and you guys actually answered two of our questions in one sitting, so that's even better. But I want to ask you as well, like, because you had your alliance at the time too. I don't know if it's still active.
It's still active. Yeah. So what was the question to go on?
So what was your best idea on what motivates people to participate in an alliance, and also if you want to answer the other one too, like what do you think makes a good alliance as well?
Yes. So the hard part was that I just didn't have time to run the alliance. We had officers running it. Eventually, like the reason why I moved on was because I was playing with another alliance a lot more because they were just playing around my time zone. And then also the alliance that I was running, a firm, was basically built like they had a full tree and everything. And I felt like it would be really bad if I just closed that alliance and just ditched everyone. So I just handed it over to the leaders so they had the full tree and they could keep going with it. But I just feel like because of my schedule, I just didn't develop enough of a connection to the people in it. So I kind of felt disingenuous. So that's why I passed it on to them to have their own alliance. But the big thing when we were starting out was it's really hard managing an alliance in PSO2 because it doesn't tell you how active people are. So you could have someone that's been offline for a year and you just wouldn't know unless you were paying attention to when they actually logged on. So the problem we found early on was that, especially because we were just recruiting anyone or letting anyone in, was the fact that it would just fill up with people that may have only played for like a day or two and then never came back. Or the other side of it was people that just wanted to join for the tree and the tree alone, and they didn't want to actually communicate with anyone, like they weren't even in the in-game chat. So that was a big hard thing. The way we ended up doing it at the time, and it's probably like, is it really that important? Was we were between the PC launch and the Steam launch, we had calls where basically we would go, okay, you got to join the alliance, you got to react to this post you got to join this Discord, you got to react to this post in the Discord, and then anyone that didn't react, we were like letting them know like a week or so in advance, like just every day saying, hey, remember to do this, posting on the alliance board. And in some cases, we were removing like 30 to 40 people from the alliance because, it's just really hard to manage an alliance in PSO2, and New Genesis is going to be another tricky period because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be joining and just wanting to join alliance for whatever perks there are. And the good thing about Tier 1 is that they've actually got a proper sign-up sheet and everything like that. I think the way they look at the 1.1 and 1 point alliances is they're more of just a community one where anyone can join if they want. but the actual tier, like if there was an opening in the tier 1 alliance, there'd be specific questions they'd be asking. Ed could probably like elaborate on those questions.
Well, I mean, I can just pop this up and go through our last set of questions because they're pretty easy to cover. So, like the first one, well, obviously, like we ask if they agree with like what our mission statement is, like what our alliance is for, which we just made because we wanted people to be clear on what we're into. We ask like what classes are people interested in, like what are their goals, what do they want to do, and see how they react to that. We see if people have been interested in the series as a whole, including PSO2 before NGS comes out. We ask kind of like what people's favorite memories are, so that we can kind of get an idea of like what they kind of like. And then we ask a few hard questions. So we have a series of 3 questions. 2 of them are combined, and there's a very specific like type of answer we're looking for here. But I'll just read out the question because it's easier. People will not always play optimally. When you run into a situation where someone outside the alliance is not playing optimally, how do you approach it? If you feel someone within the alliance is not contributing enough, how would you communicate that with them? And then the follow-up of, if someone approached you with constructive advice, how would you respond? We ask these questions to get a really clear idea of what people are, because a few of us have a really strong belief that you shouldn't be like, to put it bluntly, you shouldn't be shitting on pubbies that aren't playing the best, right? Like, they could just be playing casually, they could just not care. That's not your business. If you're in a run with puppies, you're in a run with puppies, right? Like,
that's your own problem.
That's
Right.
And so we really want to get an idea of the kinds of people we're recruiting, because we're okay if we're an alliance run and someone's underperforming. We're okay to have that conversation, right? Like, that's fine. We're in an alliance run. People are all understand that that's the case. If we're in a public run, we don't want to hear you complain about the public run. Like, you didn't organize a private run. Like,
Yep.
you queued, you multi-blocked, you can only focus on how you can play better. You
Yep.
can't focus on like the techer that's sitting in the corner only using Xanverse, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's not your problem.
You roll the dice, and you gotta. Sometimes you got a bad roll.
And the other kind of people we want are people who respond well to constructive advice.
Yeah.
Like, if someone is doing something that genuinely makes the MPA harder to clear within the alliance, that is, within an alliance clear, genuinely makes the MPA harder, or the UQ even harder than it needs to be, we'll sit aside and we'll have that conversation with them. Alright, hey, I feel like you're not contributing enough to X activity, Y activity. Is there any way we can help you improve at this? Is there any way we can help you adjust how you approach this? And like, we're happy for those kinds of conversations to go on. But that's like our main questions within our like application form.
Yeah. And most of the time, like, a good player will actually ask the questions. Like, if someone's saying, "Oh, yeah, use this tech," and they're not doing the damage on it, they're like, "Well, am I doing something wrong?" That's like a sign of a player that's kind of aligning, right? Is that they understand they're kind of like reaching a certain skill gap, and then the alliance can help fill that void.
A good example of that as well is Cammy's mum actually asked Cammy, like, how can I improve so I make it easier for public MPAs to go a lot easier? Because she's playing as a summoner. So she's like, yo, how can I not throw in these MPAs just to make it easier? So going out of her way, asking, how to improve is the attitude that we're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that all kind of falls under just realizing, well, one, you're not the best person in the room, and just kind of having that humility to be able to stand up and say, well, hey, look, there's something I realize I'm not doing, or there's a bit of damage that I know for certain I want that's just not there, and just asking for help, which I think it's really hard for some players. For the ones that can do it, kudos, but in general, just like human nature, it's hard for people to ask for help.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to have that, again, that community where you can do that and not feel, I guess, less of a person or less of a player for doing so. you still get that same respect. You get that nice response, and you have those people who are just like, yeah, like, oh, dude, talk. Like, we're not looking at you any differently. We don't think of you any differently. You ask for help. That's great. If anything, I respect you more. Here's your solution. You know, and then that person can take that and work it in their play style.
Yeah, to go on with what you said about feeling like less of a player, you're not degrading yourself in any sort of way. You're admitting that there are ways for you to improve, thus, allowing people to help you more, thus expanding your understanding of the game. You're not making yourself seem like less of a player. You're helping yourself expand more as a player in that sort of sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just to add on that too as well, PSO, it's one of those games like it's done now. So
Wow,
all
as
you
far as
can
we know.
learn, well, yeah, as far as we know, but all you can learn about some certain classes is there. They're as far as we know right now, they're not adding anything. Like, it's not too late. Even if you're going in now, you're not behind. And you catching up, it's only but so much you can go before you reach the tippy top, right? So I think it all falls under as well as just like learning everything you can about the classes. Like you said, you were doing Kyrem, you're learning everything you can about the classes, and that can only go but so far. Once you hit the top, you done learned everything. Now all you have to do is utilize it in a way that is familiar to you, but also in a way that you can maximize on your class. And with PSO2, I really do feel like sometimes it's like one way to play classes. Like there's one surefire way to play every single class, and then you have like different ways that you can play it, but they're not exactly min-maxing per se. I don't know. It just feels that way sometimes. Maybe wrong, maybe right. I have no idea. I'm a filthy casual myself. So yeah, I mean that's actually a lot of really good information because again, we did have a couple people that came in and they asked about alliances and like what is like how do you join a good alliance? And that's really hard to say because with PSO it's kind of just like, okay, this group is looking for people to recruit. They recruit you, they say yes, they might message you something. But if you don't have Discord or anything like that, it's really hard. Or if that alliance isn't all over the internet by now, it's hard to get your research in. Tier 1 versus Team Instinct, that's like a whole battle there, right? So you can look up both alliances, but then you say, well, this person has an alliance called Fairy Tale. I couldn't find that anywhere. I wouldn't able to find any information on that. So it's very hard to pick and choose, how to get into those.
Yeah.
With these alliances, I know you guys did a bunch of CM3 runs the other day, and I know I'm going to bring you guys back into the CM3 conversation. I know you love it. You can't see Ed, but I know he's smirking. He's like, push the glasses.
I mean, I was doing a rainbow. I was doing a rainbow key. I don't know about you guys. Just get my rainbow key done.
For those of you that don't know about CM3, CM3 is a new challenge mission in Phantasy Star Online 2 that is I want to say preset roguelike sort of thing. You go in with preset classes. What are the classes? There's Rush, Support.
There's Attack, which is Fighter, Braver, and Gunner. There's Rush, which is Bouncer, Ranger, and Hunter.
Yeah.
There's Support, which is Tekka and Force and Tekka. And then there's Unique, which is the Scion classes. So Phantom, which we pretend doesn't exist, Etor, Hero, and Luster.
So what? Sorry, go ahead.
No summoner, though, sadly.
So what exactly makes the unique classes different as opposed to like the other classes? Like we can obviously tell what they are.
They're just the Scion classes. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
They start at level 55 instead of level 70. There's a few other. They don't start with healing items. There's a few other stuff like that.
That's all because of balancing and stuff. Because initially, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the Scion classes have just higher stats in general, but that's because they also don't get subclasses. So.
Yeah.
But no, I mean like. It doesn't matter. CM3 doesn't have any subclasses.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just talking initial stats from like that's why
we're just strictly talking CM3 here though. Like
yeah,
they're not like they're just very powerful, but they don't have access to certain features. Like,
well, I mean, on stats, like aren't all classes pretty much at 90, like 900 hit points? So that could be why they are lower end level.
Let me go check.
I mean, it's not important, but.
I know.
Yeah, I was just thinking like you know, the unique classes, wouldn't they technically, like, all the classes, they don't share the same stats, right?
No.
Yeah. The thing is that
There's some
they would-
small variants. Yeah.
Oh, good to
Some
know
have more
something.
HP, some have less HP.
But during this quest, everyone kind of just chooses a class. It's an 8-player quest. And then you run through a series of, I guess you could say, floors. And each area is a different thing of enemy rushes or boss rushes that just come your way, and you guys have to work as a team to basically defeat them. Now, the difference between this is that you are locked to certain abilities. So there are certain things that each class must basically push. So if you're a hunter, you use Warcry a lot or something like that. If you're a attacker, you're really focusing support, so you're focusing on using your D-bat and healing, making sure your Zane versus up, making sure you're healing your team. I'm sorry, that's Tector. So Force, you're using Shifter, and you're using multiple different spells to help assist your team. So
We just pretend
it
Force doesn't exist as well.
huh?
We just pretend that Force doesn't exist as well.
Force is used to, at the start, in the middle of the teleport sequence, to cast Shifter and then change to Bouncer or something.
Wait, are you serious? Does that work?
Yeah, that's what we use Force for. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Force really that bad? Oh wow.
Okay, to give you an idea, it starts with Eddalius.
Yep.
It's
Actually, because my
amazing.
very
Also-
first run on what's up?
Also, the only tech. Oh wait, no, this is Phantom. Phantom only gets.
that's Phantom. We can meme on Phantom in a little.
Or we'll spill the beans.
It gets
what's wrong with that?
it gets like one Zan tech, and that's it.
Phantom starts with Rod, and it only has Cezanne as its technique.
Yep.
And
No,
on
congrats.
the kicker, Rifle Phantom doesn't get its best PA.
Mm.
Which
I'm not-
one?
It doesn't get Kugel. It does not get Kugel Storm. It gets all the others. It just doesn't get the amazingly useful Kugel
What about Katana Phantom? Is that viable at all?
stuff, but it's Katana Phantom. You have 100 PP. Do you think Katana Phantom is going to be able to like use many of its PAs?
No, but I mean, hey, it's an option if people really want to push for it.
It's a bad option.
Yeah, just Phantom is just a bit of a yikes, unfortunately.
What was the phrase? It's like we don't use Force and Phantom.
Oh,
But if you want to play only on
he
Phantom,
had,
don't play Phantom.
Ricky had something hilarious. If you're going for efficiency and you want to play Phantom, don't play Phantom.
Yeah. Yep, that's
Something
right.
like that with the
Mm.
It was so
Okay.
funny. In efficiency, when it comes to Phantom, the best way to contribute is to not pick Phantom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is the S wiki line on that?
There's gonna be someone out there that's
Oh.
gonna be like, SMH, why are you gonna be so elite about Phantom? It's like, it's just the way to look at it is that all the classes are basically the Wish version of the class you play. It's just that just with Wish, sometimes you order something and it's dope, sometimes you order something and it's the worst. And unfortunately, Force and Phantom are in that worst category.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah. The other reason is like, the kind of discussion that you can have there as well is like, why take Force when you can take Tekka
Mm.
and Sandverse for a similar damage bonus?
Yeah.
But you also get Deband, you also get Resta, you also get Anti. Well, Force gets this Resta as well, but you get Anti. You get One Smacks, which do a lot of damage later on as well. Kind of stuff.
You don't pay my sub. I mean, it's free to play, so
No, that argument doesn't really hold up, does it?
no.
Anyway, I cut you off
So-
with that. I'm sorry, Kaz.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
That's
You guys are actually like, I love the way you guys answer questions, because you guys end up answering like all the questions we have. Like, even some of these we had earlier. Like one of the questions we had today was what was going to be the perfect run, and you guys said that earlier when you were like, yeah, just all bouncer.
No, Hunter.
Oh,
No,
all hunter, yeah.
Oh, not all bouncer. It's like one bouncer
I-
ranges. Five hunters is probably an optimal rush strat if you have people who know how to play ranger, but it's hard.
So I love it though, because it's all extra information. So I'm, as much as it may not look like it, I don't know yet. I've had a long day, KBBQ as well, so I had the itis plus some fatigue there. So I'm definitely taking this all in. It's a
Really
lot.
should have. You really pre-ordered this challenge mode. Should have just been at the top. Like you didn't even have to get to it. You could have just talked about challenge mode this entire time.
So
I will say this.
another huge
was
thing,
that?
something we don't have in the list, but something that's huge about the challenge mode quest is that when we're learning that hunter strat, is that there's a lot of resets at the start, and that is because it is definitely like front loaded in difficulty. Ed could probably explain that a bit more.
Yes. So a big thing about CM3 as rush strat specifically is that CPAs, build up photon arts in EN, are your like bread and butter, right? Like they're the most important aspect for dealing large amounts of damage quickly. So it's kind of hard because for the first mission you don't have CPAs, which means people have to really learn how to guard. They have to really learn how to use their charge parry. They have to really learn how to position for sudden tempest and abuse weak point magneting, which I haven't talked about yet with my alliance, but I will be next time we run CM. Because there's a whole bunch of information we got recently about from a JP alliance about locking on and magneting onto Ragna's weak point with sudden tempest and stuff like that. It's all spicy stuff. But then at the end of mission 1, if you kill the Rappy, you get a challenge doll. But more importantly, at the end of mission 1, you open a box which gives you your second weapon. So everyone gets a second weapon. And so the biggest thing you're looking for there is, what CPA weapons did I get? Did I get a Soaring Blades for the Bouncer? Did I get any weapons that are usable by the Hunters or the Ranger? Well, the Ranger other weapon would be a launcher, which is one of the CPA weapons. So mission 2 is very much determined by what you get out of those boxes. If you're going as fast as possible, if you're trying to like set a time attack record or something like that, which I think is, I'm not sure what the record is, but I've seen a 10 minutes and 43 second run, which is all 5 missions, by the way. I'm pretty sure they got from the box like a bunch of bows and launchers and stuff like that, which are like quote unquote the best to get because they're the most stock efficient. So mission 2 is just entirely determined by what you get out of that box at the end. And you could get 0 CPA weapons. You could still make it through mission 2, but it would be hard.
Yep.
Especially because in the middle of mission 2, there's El Scooter. Now, El Scooter has super deband, right? Like, it's not just deband. If he applies deband to anyone, they only take 1 damage. So, like, you can't let him do that, which means you have to blow a CPA really quickly. Because that's the only way to get through his health pool that quickly. And Jet Boot's CPA, as far as I know, I could be wrong, someone might have information in the future about this, Jet Boot's CPA doesn't one-shot it. So you need at least a sword, knuckles, launcher, bow, or TMG to drop. So any other CPA weapon. If it drops, you can use it to kill him, but yeah. And after that, you then have to chase after a base, and if the base explodes, it sprays poison rain all over the area. And that can basically just wipe a run by itself. So it's very front-loaded in mission 1 and 2, and afterwards, mission 3 and 4 are all about just using your CPAs. And then mission 5 is, if you're all playing rush classes, you end up with a specific boss, and he just falls over to CPAs. So
yeah,
that's
another huge thing is that you have you've got 3 monomates. You're probably going to use. Sometimes you could use that before you even get to the Ragni. Not only that, but to get to the Luther is the actual boss you want to get the perfect score. So the huge thing is that you want to make sure that no one dies. So that if they are going to die, it's if they've got a challenge doll. So as soon as someone dies, we're resetting kind of thing. And that's like the most difficulty part is like healing items, knowing how to do the perfect guards to heal, and making sure everyone's stacked to heal as well. And there's just some bosses where you've really got to learn the timings, like Ringer is a huge one with the dash and then the big lasers it does, and making sure people guard that and heal everyone. And there's just, once you get to the second part of the second stage with the bays, there's just so many variables that come in once you've done the El Scudo part that can just like, there's like laser circles, there's the rain that could happen. Like between fighting Ringer and getting to Elder Hand, like that's like, I feel like that's the biggest tricky part in the whole thing.
Just to touch on why dying is so bad. So every time you pick up a VR mile canister, like the little canisters on the ground that refill your VR energy, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If your energy is capped, you get a bonus mile. So you get 2 miles per one, right? So you could technically get there and fight the right boss and do everything right, but if, like, say one person died every mission, you'd be a total of 16 energy. Wait, you think 16 energy? It's 4 per mission, so yeah, 4 times 4, so 16. It's a total of 16 energy short if you did that. So that's a
Yep.
That's a
It's
thing.
called Challenge Mode 3 for a reason.
Yeah, and this is also like everyone in the game has a potential to get a perfect score, so everyone's going to be at that 1 rank, so everyone can get that 100 star gems. So that's
Yeah.
So which is why I introduced Steam 3.
per week, per
It's-
ship, including
Yeah.
universal ship.
Universal ship. If you have 4 characters, 1 on each ship, you can get a total of like 500 SG or whatever a week, maybe
Yep.
even more than that. Not entirely sure.
And that's going to be really handy with NGS coming up as well.
That's
Yeah.
just free SG for NGS.
Yep.
Well, I guess you guys just answered another one of the questions. So what's the point of answering that? That's what's gonna be. Hey, man, do you guys have any tips? But
Yeah, I
everybody was taking notes.
would say, and like Ed would probably disagree, but early on when we were first running it, when we were getting like really easy clears, we were using instead of hunters, we were using Etwals, and it's super safe. But you can get like an S rank. It's just that you're not going to get a perfect score. And personally, I feel like that is a good entry level. Like if someone had never run it before,
Yeah.
that's a nice safe way to just show that, because like the stages don't change. It's just that some enemies change, like to rare or something like that. And
You weren't in VC when we discussed this, but that's what we're going to be doing moving forward.
what's that?
That's exactly what we're going to be doing moving forward. Like if we're taking in new players,
Yeah.
the first we're going to run with them is a successor run with everyone on a 12 so that people don't die.
Yeah,
And that's what initially threw me off from CM3 when I tried it for the first time. Having those fails were a little discouraging, to be honest. But wanting to try a more safer strategy to show me what exactly to expect, besides a few little changes here and there, I think is something I'm definitely gonna value going into CM3 more often.
Like you don't get a choice in this matter. You're CM3 and getting a perfect clear.
Oh, I know.
Put it this way:
Okay.
once you get past that second stage and get to the interval zone, it like honestly just all opens up. So,
Except when Fodrus decides to be a dick and someone like hands off their challenge doll and then gets insta-gibbed by Fodrus and just dies.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
I feel
was
like the biggest thing,
funny.
the biggest advice I'd give everyone trying to get a perfect run and trying to learn it is that just go with the strategy. Don't try to deviate. Just trust the process is the biggest thing, right? Because we had a few times where people be like, "Oh, I want to really do this," and it's like that would usually like cause us to wipe or set us back in some way. So you got to trust the process, and like if you do have an idea of something that might be useful, because one thing we learnt was that you could, so after or just before Ragni, there's an area you come to and it's got like a Resta Golem, it's got a whole bunch of Firewolves, and it's got a Minotaur, and those are like really tricky. And we found that someone's like, oh, if you jump on top of this wall, you can just like keep taunting them, they can't hit you. So sometimes, yeah, if you can like say, hey, I just noticed this, that stuff's cool.
Someone now.
What's that?
Didn't know my name was someone now.
Someone, Leos.
Something.
No.
I don't know who was saying it, but like it's just an example, you know. Like suggest, but
I like it.
don't be stubborn and force the hand kind of thing.
More
I mean,
importantly,
currently in the tier
enjoy
1
it.
runs, I'm the one doing the shot calling, so like
Yeah.
if we do any change to strategy, it's gonna be like only if I'm going like, yeah, let's change it.
Yeah.
And it's a video game after all. Enjoy it. Like, there's no point going in, getting bitter, and then having a sour taste for the game for however many hours. It's just like go in looking to have fun. That's really it.
Yeah, I know a few people that are like that. Name names or anything like that. Also, stepping back like 5 seconds, by the way. 5 seconds. It's like actually like half an hour now. Kazma, I just realized your problem with gig rants, by the way. You don't have gig rants type 0, do you?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. Because gig rants type 0 will instantly spit out a counter. Non-type 0 will not, though. Okay, then I just had to check.
Oh no, you're fine. I just never figured out how to do it, but like I said, it threw off my rhythm anyway. I was getting my ass kicked. I like to test things on Masquerade very often.
Yes.
So whenever I get something new, I just go to Masquerade to test it. Yeah, he was pushing my head in every time I tried. I was like, yeah, it's just not working. I need to go back on my rhythm. Mainly because if I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of my streams, but I normally listen to music a lot.
Mhm.
There is actually a mental reason for that. Music is a part of that rhythm. So I'll always, if you really pay attention, I'll always play to the song that's being played right now. And that's how, I'll work my character. Like certain things will be right on cue for no reason at all, but it works. So I don't argue with it. I just let it flow.
Do you play rhythm games by chance?
I do. I play way too many. I actually used to play Tournament Project Diva.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. I got beat by a 14-year-old girl who was a million times better than I'll ever be. She perfected every single song. And I have not played competitive since. Mainly because, not because I got beat, was because they stopped doing the tournaments at my local anime convention. So, but yeah. Huh?
Sounds like you stopped playing because you got beat.
Listen here, buddy.
Don't worry, the best.
That's all I'm hearing from this.
The best Osu player is currently a 15-year-old from Australia, man. It's crazy.
I tried to get into Osu. I'm going to need more practice. The songs that my friends gave me weren't really on key, so it made the entire thing very hard to learn.
Yeah, that's why you go out of your way to look for songs that you enjoy, and if they're a thing, just go ham with it, that sort of thing. But that's another game and another topic for another day.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about this. But we're just about wrapping up for the podcast for the day. You guys had a lot of very, very helpful tips actually for CM3, and I hope that some people are taking notes on this and sharing it back to their communities, and learning from everything we talked about today. But could you guys let our people know where to find you guys if they're ever looking for any content from y'all?
Oh dear.
I mean,
it actually just started some content, right?
No.
Oh yeah.
This, if you wanna like catch up with me, wait, a link's banned in your channel.
I don't know.
No, this would be a YOLO. Just join the tier 1. Just join the tier 1 Discord. That's the easiest place to catch me.
It is. It is banned.
Yeah. Look,
me making content is more of like a side thing. Like if I'm interested in making content on something, I will. Recently, I tried to do I tried to use content to motivate me to do Saddam, and then realized that it doesn't make me want to do Saddam. It just drains all of my energy. So I'm focusing more on like helping people get CM3 done. Maybe I'll do some CM3 streams and run some like CM3 helps and stuff like that. Maybe we'll try this whole like Sherpa CM3 thing leading into NGS. Like if I can get anyone 100 star gems, like that's a good feeling in my book. So
yeah,
that's the best place to find me, or on Twitter, at Eddalius. That works too, or in game on Block 33, Ship 1. My character is Lorelei.
There you go.
There's to get me.
As for me, same thing. Just the tier 1 Discord or at _Kyrem. And that's it. Yeah.
Kyrem22 on Twitch.
Oh God, no. Yeah, look, I mean, they're going to be streaming the beta with PC specs for those who are interested in understanding PC specs and the whether your computers are going to be able to handle it, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to be able to hopefully give you that information if you want it.
Also, as a quick sidestep there, mentioning the beta, we also have a beta section on the Tier 1 Discord where we'll be attempting to organize 32-man MPAs.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be so
Yeah.
fun.
Gigantic fights.
Oh
in the-
yeah, it's gonna be so.
So
good.
that'll be
And
something we'll
Anamana.
be doing as well. So,
Anamana AU everywhere. Easy.
I love that. You just have everything just out of an AU. It's great. And as always, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube at XingKazma. But yeah, we'll catch you all next time. And guys, we always do a thing before we end our stream, right?
All
You
right.
guys ready? So
Okay.
we all say until next time, and may your guiding light shine.
Until next time, may your guiding light
Right.
shine. Right. Okay. I want to write that
You
down.
ready?
I set this up because hang on a minute. If I stuff this up, I'm gonna feel really silly.
All right, so 3, 2,
2, 1.
until next time, and make
and may
your guiding light shine.
Yes, I got it. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
have fun, guys.
Yes.
See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.